Hello, everyone. Today's discussion will focus on an introduction to the 1987 Constitution. Let us begin with the definition of a constitution. What is a constitution? A constitution is a foundational document that outlines the basic powers of government, restricts them, and allocates these powers among different branches to ensure their effective and secure use for the overall well-being of society. What then is the nature and purpose or function of a constitution? A constitution serves a dual function. First, it serves as the supreme or fundamental law of the land. It is the law by which other laws must submit or conform. It is the charter that creates the government and speaks for the people from whom it derives its claim to obedience. Secondly, the Constitution establishes the basic framework and underlying principles of government. It prescribes the permanent structure of government and to assign to the different branches their respective powers and duties. Let us discuss the kinds of constitution. Constitutions may be classified according to their origin or history, according to their form, and according to the manner of amending them. As to their origin and history, constitutions may be classified either as conventional enacted or cumulative evolve. Conventional enacted constitution is one where it is enacted by a constitutional assembly or commission, like the 1987 Constitution, or one granted by a king or monarch to his subject, like the 1889 Constitution of Japan. Cumulative evolved constitution refers to a constitution that has evolved organically over time from established practices, beliefs, legal precedents, and similar sources, rather than being created by a deliberate and formal enactment. It describes an organic law that arises gradually from societal norms, long-standing conventions, and judicial rulings, as opposed to being the result of intentional legislation. As to their form, a constitution may be written or unwritten. A written constitution is a systematically organized and meticulously written document that embodies the fundamental principles and laws of a state or organization. It serves as the legal basis for polity, defining the nature and extent of government and the relationship between institutions and the rights of citizens. An unwritten constitution refers to a system of governance where the fundamental principles, rules, and laws are not codified within a single formal document. Instead, it is based on customs, traditions, judicial precedents, and various legal instruments that have evolved over time. Despite the term unwritten, many of its elements are documented in statutes, legal decisions, and other official records, but are not systematically compiled into one cohesive text. Example of this is the English Constitution. As the manner of amending them, a constitution is either rigid, inelastic, or flexible, elastic. A flexible constitution is a type of constitution that can be easily amended or modified through ordinary legislative process without requiring special or complex procedures. This adaptability allows the government to respond more effectively to changing circumstances, societal needs, and emergencies. A rigid constitution is a type of constitution that is difficult to amend or modify due to the inclusion of special procedures and safeguards designed to protect its fundamental principles. It is often considered as the supreme law of a country, standing above ordinary legislation and requiring a more complex process for any changes. How then can you classify the 1987 Philippine Constitution? The 1987 Philippine Constitution is a conventional enacted because it was enacted by a constitutional commission. It is written and is rigid, inelastic because it can only be changed by amendment or revision by a constitutional convention or people's initiative under Article 17 of the 1987 Constitution. What are the three important sets of provision that a constitution must contain? A good constitution must at least contain three sets of provision. First, a constitution of government refers to the fundamental sets of principles, rules, and structures that define how a political community is organized and governed. It establishes the framework for the operation of government institutions, the distribution of powers between the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, and the rights and responsibilities of citizens. These are found in Articles 6, 7, and 8 of the 1987 Constitution. A constitution of liberty sets forth the fundamental rights of the people and imposing certain limitations on the powers of government as a means of securing the enjoyment of these rights. These rights are embodied in the Bill of Rights under Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution. A constitution of sovereignty refers to the way the Constitution may be changed. The 1987 Philippine Constitution can be amended or revised through three main methods, as outlined in Article 17, namely by Constitutional Assembly or CONAS, by Constitutional Convention or CONCON, and by People's Initiative. We go now to the supremacy of the Constitution. The concept of supremacy of the Constitution, as discussed by Isagani Cruz, emphasizes that the Constitution is the highest and most fundamental law of the land. All other laws, actions, and decisions, whether by government officials or private individuals, must conform to its provisions. Here are the key principles. The Constitution as paramount law. The Constitution is described as the basic and paramount law to which all laws, policies, and action must differ. No act, regardless of its intentions, can be valid if it conflicts with constitutional provisions. Expediency or greed for power must not undermine the Constitution's authority. It must remain supreme until changed by the sovereign people through proper processes. Second principle is judicial enforcement. The judiciary plays a crucial role in upholding constitutional supremacy through judicial review. This power allows court to invalidate laws, contracts, or government actions that violate constitutional norms. The Supreme Court is regarded as the ultimate guardian of the Constitution, ensuring checks on abuses by other branches of government while maintaining its co-equal status with them. The third is the doctrine of constitutional supremacy. Under this doctrine, any law, contract, or action that violates the Constitution is deemed null and void. This principle applies universally to acts promulgated by the legislative or executive branches, as well as private agreements. For example, in Tawang Multipurpose Cooperative versus La Trinidad Water District, the Supreme Court ruled that unconstitutional laws or contracts are without force and effect. Number 4 is the protection against tyranny. Justice Isagani Cruz underscores that disregarding constitutional supremacy could lead to illegitimate power grabs or tyranny. Upholding the Constitution ensures a balance between authority and liberty, fostering a well-ordered society. In summary, Justice Isagani Cruz's writing highlights the Constitution's role as the ultimate safeguard for democracy, individual rights, and legal order in the Philippines. Judicial review serves as the mechanism to enforce this supremacy effect. Lastly, let us differentiate the Constitution from a regular statute. A constitution is a law created directly by the people, whereas a statute is a law enacted by the representatives of the people. A constitution outlines the overall structure and principles of the law and government, while a statute provides a specific detail and regulations on a particular subject. A constitution is designed to guide both current and future circumstances, whereas a statute is primarily aimed at addressing current needs and conditions. A constitution serves as the highest law of the land, and all statutes and other laws must comply with its provisions. This concludes our discussion on the introduction to the Constitution. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.